So you can actually bypass your serving through set with Hakka style. What? This is one of the insane things that you will learn with Hakka. Since Hakka is the first ever ultra style that has been released in Volleyball Legends, I will help you to understand Hakka much better. You will learn how to use the clone much better, bait your enemy much better, and become unstoppable with Hakka style. But before that, many of you haven't subscribed yet, so please subscribe. Without further ado, it's time to become pro. Alright, so we have 3 fundamentals to become pro with Hakka. And the first one here is the Hakka basics, so we're gonna jump up first here. In this Hakka basics, we need to learn first how does Hakka works by looking to his main stats. So you see here, he has the rainbow stats on his setting, meaning he's a setter main. And his special ability is all about the clone. But what makes him as an ultra style? When you look up on this mastery, you can actually become a spiker and blocker through his clone. And you can summon up to 2 clones if you max your mastery. So that means Hakka style can become all-rounder once you reach the max level. And I can already imagine how crazy this style is. Alright, so now let's try to understand how the clone works. So in this style, you have to fill up first his clone ability by receiving, spiking, or scoring. So it takes like 4 to 6 to fill this up. And once it is maxed up, you can toggle it on and off. And how can you trigger the clone? To trigger this clone, you have to set up like this. Whoa, that's really quick. So with this clone, you have to be fast whenever you're gonna set it or spike it. That's why, by doing this on the practice mode, you can get used with the timing of the clone. So if you take a closer look, the clone aim only copies on how your avatar looks. So that means if you're planning to spike, you have to use ship lock most of the time and make sure your clone is aiming towards the court when you set it. So with the Hakka style, you have to use your ship lock most of the time, or else it is really hard to spike it with the clone. Otherwise, if you just plan to set it to your teammate, it's alright to not use your ship lock. And one last thing, your clone will never count the touches of the ball. So that means if you're the last touch, you can go crazy whenever you want. Just remember, it only counts as 1 touch whenever you clone it or not. Now, let's talk about what are the things you cannot do with the clone. First of all, you cannot use any ability with your clone. Even if it is redirectional jump, it will not work. The only time you can only use your ability is when the clone disappears. Second, the clone doesn't change its direction if you flick your aim. Like I said, it depends on how your avatar is looking currently. The clone direction is very linear, so it's more predictable if you know how it works. And lastly, the clone will never trigger if it goes to the other side. You can only trigger it within your side. Alright, so we have seen here that Hakka can become a spiker when you reach the level 5 clone. So if you have learned a lot with this guide, why not consider subscribing? Now we have cleared the Hakka's basic, it's time for you to learn the Hakka's tech. There are 2 deadly techs that you must know with Hakka, and this tech can make you score easily. The first deadly Hakka tech is the Demon Clone tech. First of all, you have to position your aim onto 20 to 30 degrees from the net like this. After that, do a jump set and aim it to the side of the net like this. Ooh, that looks really deadly. It doesn't matter whether you are close to net or in the middle, as long as you set it close to the side of the net, then you can do the demon cat with proper avatar aim. If you are level 5 Hakka, then that means you can either bait it then spike it or set it to your spiker. It all depends on what position they are. And for our second tech is the double clone serve tech. This is similar to the demon clone tech, but this time you have to serve it with your 2 clone to the side of the net. Let me show you first how to do it. So to do this, just make the ball glide first, then move to the side of your serve, then glide towards your ball. After that, hold D and spam set. Once you have reached your second clone, spike it immediately, either you dunk it or S tilted. I know this technique is quite advanced for you, so keep practicing. Your main goal is to serve it much closer to the net, because the closer you are, the harder it is to receive. Alright, I'm pretty sure you are already feeling becoming a pro with these 2 fundamentals, but before we proceed, can we reach 500 likes? Now for our last part, the code. What is the code of being pro Hakka after all? The code of being pro Hakka is to know what is the best abilities and lineup for this. The best ability for Hakka is Port Touch, Curve Spike, Magnetic Pull. Port Touch allows you to confuse your enemy with your clones. Curve Spike makes your surfing more deadlier, and while the Magnetic Pull allows you to score easily with the Magnetic Dunk. And for the best lineup for Hakka in 2v2 is Hakka and Hakka, 3v3, Hakka and Hakka and Hakka, and 4v4, Hakka and Hakka and Hakka and Hakka. Looks like Hakka literally hacked my 5 minutes guide, so let's move on to the next guide by clicking the video above me. Hurry up before Hakka stops this video. Alright, as always, a fellow samurai says, to God be the glory.